So today is closing day at Ferncrest for our second season, and it is time to close. It's 34 degrees, and there is still a lot of things that we have to do to get ready for the off season and start thinking about the next season as well. So today I'm here at the Rex, where we're right up the road from Ferncrest, and we're about to head down there, and we have a few things to do, three major things. First thing is we have to winterize everything. We have to shut it down. We have to put away mattresses, put away linens, blow out the pipes. So making sure that it's not going to have any issues over the next 5 months. The second thing we have is we have two potential franchisees visiting us. Yeah, we're franchising Ferncrest now, and people are starting to come to the property to learn about it, to see it in person. So between the shutdown activities, we're going to be meeting with those franchisees, showing them the property and getting them excited about what they can do in their own property. And then the third thing is we have to start budgeting and looking at the different projects that we have to do over the off season to get ready for next season to make season 3 even better than it's ever been. So we got a lot to do today, so let's get in the car, get down to Ferncrest, and get at it. All right, so it is feeling pretty nippy right now, and it is definitely time to close for the season because the bathrooms are not winterized and the decks of the dome tents are not winterized as well. So people are running the heaters right now, which is great because they need those to stay warm. However, what ends up happening is with the heat running and then a microwave on, and then if you hit the hot water kettle as well, the power can trip. So the amount of electricity that we have going to each tent is generally sufficient, and throughout the entire summer, we only had a few instances of it tripping, but it just so happens that on the last day of people staying here at the property, we had a tent trip the power. So I'm gonna go into the pump house and I'm gonna flip that switch back on so they can have power to make their coffee and wrap up their last day here at Ferncrest. So the pump house is where the well is, as well as where we have the circuits for 6 of our tents. Now, it's a little bit messy, so don't judge me, but let me show you what we got going on here. So this is where our circuit is. So this basically has a 100 amp circuit for 6 tents that are over here. The main wire comes into here, and then we split it up and distribute the power over to the tents. So this one looks like it's loose. That's tent number 4. They have power again. One of the things that I'd like to do in advance of next year is either reconfigure what electrical devices we have in the tents or potentially upgrade this by even just 10 amps. It would make a huge difference. These are only 20 amp circuits. So 20 amps going to each tent, it's not a lot. And really those heat devices, those microwaves, hot water kettle, and the heaters, those all combined probably need close to 30 amps of power. When those are all on, the 20 amp circuit trips. So there's a lot of different things we got to do over the off season. The work sort of starts now. One of them is we're going to be chopping a lot of wood. So this is our wood chopping station. This was a big addition this year because previous years we were buying wood and then reselling it. This year we actually started chopping our own wood. We have a ton of trees, a ton of down trees in the forest. We have a couple acres of forested land down there as well. That's all ours, and it's basically trees on the ground. So we started collecting our wood and actually cutting our own wood here, which has saved a lot of money, but also given our staff something to do when there's like the highs and lows of the amount of work that we have to do. So really in the winter time especially, there's a lot of downtime because Ferncrest is closed and the Rex is a little bit less busy. So we can just be chopping wood whenever there's time and the weather's okay. We really got to figure out something to do with these. We have the 2 already decommissioned hot tubs, but now we're going to have 4 more because all 6 of the original hot tubs that we got are being discontinued. So these were the 2 that we already replaced with new hot tubs, but now we're going to have 4 new hot tubs coming in, which means that we're going to have 6 old hot tubs to sell. We spent around $5,000 per hot tub. Yeah, like crazy, crazy price. Even though they look bad, they still are usable. And so my hope is that if we can recoup maybe like $1,000 a hot tub by selling them locally to somebody who wants a wood-fired hot tub, that would be probably a good situation for us. And then we'd have, you know, $6,000 to apply to something else at the campground. So the firewood's done for the year, but this is going to be good for next year. So honestly, the longer the firewood sits, the better, because one of the things we had this year that was a big problem was wet firewood. It was funny because like earlier, do you remember earlier in the year how like it was like raining so much And now like the last month, it hasn't rained at all. So the firewood's nobody's been really complaining about the firewood. Wow. We did perfect plan. Wow. 2 bags left. That's efficient. That is an efficient ending to the season. You couldn't get any better than that, because if there was no bags left, it means people probably didn't have ice that they wanted to buy. But with 2 bags left, the only better thing would be to have 1 bag left. Can I interest you in buying a bag of ice?
No.
Hey, we should see if there's any ice cream left. I mean, we're closed for the season, so. I love this trailer. This is like my favorite trailer. It's so cute. It's a little bit small. My head hits the top, but all summer long, this has been scooping ice cream. And oh, what do you think? You want a scoop? Let's see, what is this one? Old-fashioned cherries and cream. Oh, wow, look at that. We actually do have a lot of ice cream left. We gotta have some ice cream today, Hannah. We're eating good tonight. Oh, look at this. Pineapple upside down cake. That's a weird sounding flavor, but could be interesting. Although it's sort of like pineapple pizza. You know, would you eat pineapple pizza?
Yes.
You would?
Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh.
It's good.
It's so weird. This trailer did really quite well this summer. We actually changed it a bunch because last year, the first year, we kept it open every single day. And that didn't really make much sense because during the weekdays, there wasn't as many people, and also people are just less inclined to eat ice cream on like a Monday or Tuesday. This ice cream trailer, we only operated on Friday nights and Saturday nights, which saved a lot in terms of staffing, but also made for a really amazing vibe. Like this area here was a big upgrade this year by having the trailers in the campground. So last year they were out by like the road, which we wanted to make it that way so that we would get more locals and more just people passing by to come to get ice cream. And we still allowed, obviously, like people to come into this area that weren't staying at the campground. However, by activating it here in this spot, this entire area became like a focal point of the campground, which taught us a lot about like how to make a common space really like engaging. Fire, things like ice cream, coffee. And even when the ice cream and coffee is not open, it's just got a great feel to it, which makes people like want to hang out here, spend time. We have these string lights that are all around here, which we got to turn off for the season. What we have to do in this common space to get it ready for winter is A, we got to get rid of all that ice cream so we got some ice cream to eat. And then B, we got to take everything else out. We got the coffee trailer. Let's go check that out too. This little Mickey Mouse. Sort of cute, but also sort of gross. Probably should throw him away. Although, you know who loves Mickey right now? Rad. Rad loves Mickey. He's obsessed. He's just obsessed with Mickey Mouse. I don't know what it is. He calls him Owl, actually. He has a nickname for him. But this is the coffee trailer. Actually, did you have your coffee this morning?
Yes.
You did? I was going to say I could pour us a shot. Yeah, all of this basically has to be wound up. It's really been interesting to run a coffee and an ice cream trailer. Like, it doesn't make a ton of profit. Like, the purpose of the coffee and the ice cream is really more of an amenity for the people that are staying here. So like on the weekend, people love coming to this window. You know, they come out of their tents, they walk to the bathrooms, and then they can grab a cup of coffee, and it's like, it's been a, anyways, it's not opening, but they can, people can get a cup of coffee, they can get a matcha latte, they can get like fancy coffee drinks. Got some leftover milk. Like Susan, who runs this, she'll be able to take a lot of this home and hopefully make use of it. But it looks like we don't have that much coffee left. This is so we use a local coffee roaster called Black and Grass. Lights are flickering. It's tired. It wants to go to bed itself. Time to take a 5-month break. Every year when we open this, we have to get a health inspection. This is a registered food business, this one and the ice cream trailer. They each have their own little sticker that says we keeping people healthy right here. See this? Sanitation inspection certificate. So for anybody that's looking to do like a food business, there's 2 different important things to know. One is that if you're actually serving and preparing foods, you got to get like that. But if you have like the camp store, which is all pre-prepared food, so like bottled beverages or packaged goods, you don't need a health inspection for that. So it adds a complexity, but it's been pretty good. What's that? It looks like, what is that? A walking stick? What do you think?
High heel.
High heel. One of the things that we got to do not necessarily in the next 48 hours, but over the next, few months and in preparation for next year, is the campground gets a lot of use over the summertime. This season, I think I ran the numbers, and we almost had 2,000 people here at this property, which means that there's bound to be little bits and pieces of trash that have sort of gotten hidden and not been cleaned up throughout the season. So we really got to like manicure this, and we got to get it really nice and prepared for next year. And that includes even just small things like this. The other thing that we got to do that will probably need to be done before it snows is all of the leaves, even though it is okay and natural to have like leaves on the property. What ends up happening if it snows on the leaves, they get sort of matted down. They're not going to biodegrade in time for the spring. So in the springtime, it'll just become a really messy sort of mixture of material. So ideally we blow all the leaves off the property and into the woods where they can biodegrade. They're all maple trees, and they obviously all have a lot of leaves. So there's like very few pine trees. If you notice, like there's not many evergreens in here at all. A lot of leaves to clean up. It was beautiful here like a few months, or not even a few months, like 3-4 weeks ago. This place was just a wash in color. It's over. Like literally in the last week, every leaf has fallen off the trees. Let's check out some of the tents to see what we got to do to wrap them up. This is our Crest tent. The Crest tents have done pretty good this year. The challenge with the Crest tents has been, since they're not temperature controlled, they don't have air conditioning in them, the canvas tends to get a little bit of growth on the outside, but we did a pretty good job keeping them clean. We got all these leaves. We got to make sure before it starts to snow. So all of those leaves have to come off because they'll break down and they'll get like into the material and stain it even more. And then they also add weight to the structure so that if we get snow and then the leaves and everything like that. So one of the things about these structures in the wintertime is that if we do have a big snow, our team has to come here and get some of the heavier snow off of these edges, because even though this is a steel structure and honestly like it could probably hold a lot of snow, we just don't want to have too much snow on it throughout the winter, especially once it ices up and things like that. This is dirty from a previous guest, as we can see. The name of the game for today and tomorrow is going to be stripping the sheets, putting the mattresses in bags. We'll probably roll up the carpets. We'll clean it, make sure it's decently clean for the wintertime, although we'll obviously have to clean it again when we open up in the spring. Take all the anything valuable, like the electric banks, the power banks, the lanterns, all of this stuff. This will all come out. But the stove, the clothing rack, the bed and the furniture, all of that can stay. We'll just try to wrap it up and make it look nice. So we got some work to do on these guys. The reason why I like the dome tent so much is that the material is different. It's a PVC, so it doesn't stain and it doesn't grow anything. Whereas like we have like, and a lot of this is just the dirt on the outside that sort of gets on the tent and then ends up staining it. But we definitely have to figure out a solution for next year where we can keep these a little bit nicer, because even though a lot of it is just staining, it makes it look a little bit not nice. Let's check out a dome tent and see what we got to do for these. These do just get a little bit dirty and then they wash off with some nice cleaning solution that we have. And so essentially the dome tents, we don't have to do as much to winterize them. Oh, this one's nice and made up. Similar situation, we'll take all the linens out, we'll put the mattress in a bag, but because they have a lock on the door, we can leave like the other items in here. What's actually funny about the dome tents is I wish we could keep these open year round, because if we had winterized bathrooms, these dome tents, if we had insulated the floors, so the floors right now are not insulated, so if we wanted to stay open in the winter, we'd have to do a few things like insulate the floors and also figure out like how to create some caps for the vent holes that are at the top. So these vent holes are meant to like let out moisture and heat in the summertime, but then in the wintertime, they will let all the hot air out. That's one of the things that we had challenged with this like shoulder season period, which is like the early spring and then like the fall period, right, like we are right now, where it gets into like the 20s or 30s at night. These dome tents are not quite ready for that. So one of the things for next year is to figure out how to heat these a little bit better to make them really cozy when it is 30 degrees outside. I think the dome tents, they're so much easier to run than the Crest tents, and they get more money, which is the funny part of that. Is the economics of actually setting up a dome tent is not that much different than a Crest tent, but the revenue that we generate from it is better. And then we also don't have as much issues with the weather and mold and all that type of stuff. Did you have a chance to take a sauna this year?
At the Rex I did.
You did? Yeah.
I did do it here actually in May.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So this is probably one of the coolest additions that we had in the off season. It didn't necessarily drive a ton of like revenue because we were charging for sauna sessions, but even just the ambiance of having the sauna on the property, even if you didn't use it, I think is really cool. The good thing about this is completely off grid. So there's no water, there's no electric out here. So generally speaking, it'll just sit here. I don't know if we should tarp it or something like that, but it's missing a piece of wood here. That's gross. That's really gross. The showers are a big reason why we have to shut down as well. So right now, at least, Ferncrest in this location only has outdoor showers. So these outdoor showers, like the pipes are fully exposed. So right now, if it gets super cold at night for a prolonged period of time, for like more than, 5-6 hours, if it goes below freezing, these pipes might break. So it's a really cool summer amenity when you're out here in the summertime. It's 70 degrees, you're underneath the trees and stuff like that. But in the wintertime, it doesn't work. All the pipes in the bathrooms as well, they're all exposed. So everything about these bathrooms were built for seasonal bathroom use. They were never meant or designed for year-round use. There's no insulation in here. So these bathrooms in general probably will just be shut down bathrooms in the wintertime. And then if we add a bathroom facility, there would just be like one bathroom and maybe a limited selection of tents that would stay open for the wintertime. There's stuff everywhere. Like, I don't even know. I don't think this is ours. I bet you this was somebody's big flashlight that they had in the campground. Let's go check out our general manager and ask him a few questions about how the season went. Hey, Dave. Hey. Quick question for you. Do you know how many people stayed at Ferncrest this season?
1,787.
Holy cow. That's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people.
Do you know how many bundles of firewood were burned?
Firewood was 1,252.
That's a lot of wood.
A lot of wood.
All right, I don't think you're going to get this one, but how many customer service calls or texts did we get?
2,182.
This is good. You're good. How many bears got into our dumpsters?
One bear got in the dumpster. 3 sightings, 1 made it into the trash.
How many clogged toilets?
18 clogged toilets.
And of those customer service calls, what was the funniest one that you received?
The funniest one would have to be when somebody asked how to turn on the fire pit.
Oh boy. And what was your favorite memory from the season?
Favorite memory would have to be the wedding party that we had here. So they booked out all 21 tents. It was just a great time just to see everybody coming together, sharing all of the spaces as a large group, which I really feel is what Ferncrest is really all about.
Awesome. Hey, nice hat, by the way. Oh, hi. This was a long day and it deserves some ice cream. So first I'm scooping Dave some ice cream, and it was an awesome day. We had 2 visits from potential franchisees. So we just spent time with Hafsa and Nick, and they're looking at some opportunities with us and looking to do a Glampground of their own. And then the other thing that we did, this is not scooping very nicely. I'm not a very good scooper, sorry. Is that enough?
Well, thank you. That's perfect.
All right, good. So the ice cream that we have here, we're closed for the season. So we have a little bit of ice cream left. We got to finish it up. The next few days is going to be about shutting down the tents, getting everything wrapped up, and ultimately making sure that Ferncrest is tucked in nice and tight for a long winter sleep. We'll be back at it in April. So come April 5th, we're opening up. That by no means means that we are not going to be doing anything here for the next 5 months. We got a lot to do, and ultimately, we have a lot of ice cream to eat still. Thanks for watching today. It's been a fun day. Like, subscribe, do that thing. See you on the other side.